Now there's a new tradition in town, championship off-road racing. And today the stars of the sport have come back to Pomona for some fun in the California sun.
Sunny Southern California, where everything is laid back and relaxing. Or maybe not everything. The stars of off-road racing are charging toward the championship, and today that path takes a turn to Pomona. Wait a minute. I get the feeling we've been here before.
Here we go. Oh, man. I don't know how he pulled that off. Trying to get to the checkered flag.
Champions and challengers, focused on the prize. Quick hands, strong hearts, keen eyes, and perfect recall.
If he drives by our pit, he's going to see the Makita tools flying over the wall at him.
One thing you have to remember, these guys never forget. They have been here before, and today, they're back.
NBC Sports presents Championship Off-Road Racing. Today it's race number 10 of the 2008 season from the LA County Fairplex in Pomona, California. Hi everybody, Wally and Weber, thanks for having us in for the race. Today our NBC coverage will focus on the Pro 2 division and the Pro 4 trucks. They both raced here yesterday, and it was a wild afternoon where once again we learned one of the toughest competitors at this track is the track.
It's the track. Pomona's a little bit shorter than where we were at Chula Vista, but it's got plenty of action. Some of this action we saw yesterday, this place tore some guys up. Here we see Renazetter hits Kyle LeDuc, puts him in the wall, and that got Renazetter a black flag, Bill. These officials are coming down hard on these guys.
Dropped him deep in the field. This is for the lead in turn 5, LeDuc, Greaves, and Douglas.
Kyle LeDuc takes the victory in the Pro 4, and we saw one of the wildest flips to date. Johnny Greaves, 6 times barrel rolls this thing. I mean, he went for a ride, Bill, and a little bit slow getting out of the truck, but you know what? He's back here today.
And he's with Ken Stout.
Of course, Johnny Greaves, his name is synonymous with championship off-road racing, one of the icons of the sport, gave us all quite a scare yesterday. Boy, you went for a ride, my friend.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty. It was probably one of the most intense ones I've had in a while. You know, I've taken some good ones, but that one on the concrete and the spin was so quick, it hurt. I felt that one for a while.
Do you remember anything at all? I know a lot of times the brain will just dismiss all that stuff, but do you remember anything?
Oh yeah, I remember it perfect. You know, the first time it hit so violent. I just, you know, I clinched my belts and I tried to wrap up in a ball as tight as I could because it was. I just never came down that hard. It felt like I was dropped out of a plane, you know, upside down in the concrete. There was just no give. So, you know, I remember it completely because when I went up in the air the second time, I wanted to be holding on to something, and I was all I could find.
2006 Crandon turn number 1, also an amazing wreck. Can you compare this one to that one?
Yeah, they were both pretty violent. You know, the deal with Crandon was, you know, we were going quite a bit faster, and I rolled onto the nose a little softer, and then when it hooked, it just started cartwheeling. But when you get continuous cartwheels like that, you don't really get that really bad jar. You know, unfortunately, we did bruise our lungs, and you know, I moved my heart, I guess, a little bit on that one. But you know, this one was just, the impacts were just so violent, and the spins were so fast. You know, it was something else. I could just. It was like feeling stuff rip out of my face. If you want to know how tough you got to be to race off-road, right there, you got it.
Well, we're certainly glad you're okay, my friend. I know you're going to make one lap. We'll put another driver inside of the truck and salvage some points, but we're happy you're okay. Standing down with another icon of the sport is Kelly Stavis. He's had 3 podium finishes in Pro 2, but in Pro 4, he wasn't so fortunate.
And today, Carl Renazetter starts in that Pro 2 again, but yeah, in that Pro 4 race, battling for the lead with Kyle LeDuc, your ultimately black flag for rough driving. Did you think the penalty was fair, and would you do anything different?
You know, I thought Kyle kind of set the physical tempo early on. The 2 laps prior, he used me in the same corner, so I didn't think I did much different. But, you know, sometimes you win some and you lose some, and I was on the short end of the stick of that one. But, you know, I don't think I've done anything different, and, you know, I'm going to try and drive my race today and get this Lucas Oil truck to the front.
How do you rebound in both divisions after a day like yesterday?
you kind of erase the memory chip in your mind, and you focus on what we know. And we're fast here. We just had some bad luck. You know, we had a couple things go south on us, and but this team can bounce back, and we're going to.
It starts from the 3rd row here in Pro 2, Bill.
Thanks, Kelly. Take a look at the Pro 2 championship standings. Rob McCachran continues to lead, 43 points in front of CORR Rent-A-Center. Todd LeDuc is 3rd, Ricky Johnson 4th. Jerry Welchel, the defending series champion, is 5th. And you see the rest of the guys in the top 10 in the Pro 2 points. Coming up, we'll meet Jerry Welchel, the defending champion in Pro 2. About 45 minutes from LAX, the fairgrounds at Pomona. The Pro 2 trucks getting ready to go racing this afternoon, among them Jerry Welchel, and with his story, here's Kelly Stavist.
Well, Bill, the level of competition in this Pro 2 division has become so tough that last year's champion, Jerry Welchel, is still looking for his first win. He had a good shot at it in Chula Vista, but Carl Rent-A-Center, who was also looking for his first win of the year, had other things in mind.
Welchel is the defending series champion, trying to hold off CORR Rent-A-Center.
He wanted the inside. My nose was on the inside. I'm like, we're going to have to fight for this. You know, I'm not going to turn into him. I'm not going to break, though.
Do I like how CORR handled it? No, I don't. I would have just had him give the spot back, not penalize him in any way, not black flag him, not do anything like that. Just give the spot back and pass him without him. I don't know if they didn't have a good angle on it or what they saw, but when I saw it on the 9 o'clock news that night, I thought it was a little bit of aggressive driving. Carl most of the time races me clean. I think he just got a little excited, but I mean, you know, do a slide job on me, set me up, don't just punt me. I just don't drive that way, and I'm never going to drive that way.
Welchel has 2 third place finishes, the bicycle.
I'm going to show him, which I did on Sunday, that I can pass him without hitting him. There is a right way to race, and I'm going to show him what that is, and that's that.
Back with our champion now, and Jerry, there's been a lot of talk about contact on the track. Do you think that people are being more aggressive this year compared to years previous?
Well, I think that the more we race together, I think the more we learn how each other drives. And I think Jim Baldwin's doing a great job on building these tracks to give us 2 lanes of passing. And I think everybody's driving a little bit more fair with each other. And the more we drive together, the better that'll get. And so we're looking for coming from 8th place today, clean drive through the pack and try to get on that podium.
Well, he was nearly half a second faster than Rob McCachran in qualifying. We'll see what he does from the 8th spot, Bill.
Thanks, Kelly. Can you get from 8th to 1st clean?
I don't think so. Not in CORR racing, you can't.
We're going to find out, though. Be some wild action coming up from the stars of the Pro 2 division here in Champions. Drives that rock star number 3. Talking about stars, CORR Rent-A-Center. He's done just about everything in off-road racing. Couple of wins this season, and he's 2nd in points. Right now, everybody chasing Rob McCachran. 4 victories in 2008, and 3 of them have come right here at Pomona. And our NBC Race family, happy to welcome you to Pomona. You can see the Pro 2 trucks are on the track. About a lap here, Mr. Dallenbach.
Yeah, well, you know, we always come back to Pomona, but it's always something's always a little bit different. Here's the pavement section right here through turns 1. Now, turn 2, they made it about 50 feet wider. This leads you up onto the tabletops. Then you've got a hard left-hander, turn 3, which shoots you back into what we call the big dig. Hard right-hander. You really got to run hard through here. And this is a section that's really, really touchy. Turn 5, we've seen a lot of guys have trouble here. So we'll see if they can make it clean today, but I doubt it.
Take a look at the starting grid for this afternoon's race. 24 trucks. After qualifying, the top 8 were inverted. That puts Greg Adler on the pole next to Ricky Johnson. Adrian Cheney starts 3rd. Scott Taylor, who got a podium here yesterday, is 4th. Todd LeDuc is in the 5th spot. CORR Rent-A-Center is 6th. Rob McCachran is 7th. And Jerry Welchel was by far the fastest man in qualifying. He starts 8th. And you take a look at the rest of the starting grid for this afternoon's Pro 2 action. 24 trucks. Bryce Menzies, who raced here yesterday, is sitting it out today after he had a wild wreck in his Pro Light truck. And you're going to get to ride along today. There's Ricky Johnson.
Ricky Johnson, yep. Jeremy McGrath, the 15 truck.
Yep, Traxxas onboard camera.
And Jerry Welchel.
That Chet Huffman Motorsports Chevy. Jerry always a fun one to watch. All right, how about your Toyota keys to the race?
Well, let's see. My keys are going to be tire management. It's always, you always have tire management, but here especially because of the pavement, you can really tear your tires up here. Play nice with others. The officials have been using that black flag, so they're watching very closely on how these drivers are racing each other. And serve the nerf. You get this section right into turn 5. You've really got to time it all perfect. And turn 5 is really tricky. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of guys that are having trouble there. So it's going to be pretty fun to watch them get through here. And that's right where they're at right now.
This race was not over till you get through turn 5 on the final lap. 24 truck field, 18 laps on a track that's 7/10 of a mile on a beautiful afternoon here in Pomona. Green flag in the air.
Greg Adler gets a great start. I know he wanted to beat Ricky Johnson into that turn 1, and he did it. But he better not relax too much, because here comes Johnson to the inside.
For the lead as they head for turn 3. Ricky Johnson in the Red Bull truck has it. Adler in second. Cheney had third, but lost it right there.
Cheney lost 2 or 3 spots right there in turn 2.
Now into the big dig. Scott Taylor runs third.
Oh, McGrath is tied up there with Cheney. McGrath is going to lose a couple of spots.
Like McCaffrey got a piece of that too. There's Welchel in that number 1 truck. Yellow and blue.
Oh, Welch underneath Renazetter. On-board shot of Jerry. That worked.
Took a quick look out the window there, didn't he?
Boy, they just watered this track down not 10 minutes ago, and it's already this dusty.
McGrath in the 15, Welchel in the 1. Let's check in with Ken Stout.
Johnny Greaves pulling in as expected. The driver change being made. Dan Vandenhoevel will do the driving duties. He has 10 wins inside of the Pro 2 class, has finished as high as second in the points on 2 different occasions in his career, the latest one being in 2005. Of course, all the safety elements need to be taken care of. There's a lot of stuff to plug in here. All the safety harnesses, the Hans has to go on, the pumper has to go on, radio wires have to go on. Everything has to be taped because this racing is so violent. It's very, very difficult. It'll be a lengthy time change here, a driver change, but they're just about completed, and they'll get Dan out to try and save the points, guys.
Thanks, Ken. You saw Jerry Welchel get into trouble on the track.
Yeah, we were joking earlier about coming from 8th to 1st cleanly. Well, he didn't have an opportunity. I'm not sure if he got turned or not, but when he got turned, when he was spun around, he looked like a ping pong ball. I mean, people were bouncing off him left and right.
Ricky Johnson continues to lead. He heads for the big dig. LeDuc is second. Then Scott Taylor. It's like Craig Adler's holding down that 4th spot, Kelly.
Well, we've seen him get passed on the inside, which is exactly what he wanted to avoid. In fact, he put on a mirror on that left driver's side just to avoid it. He felt like in the past when he started up front like that, he's left the inside open, and he knows these fast guys can get around him. So we'll see if he can hold off some more guys.
Our runner center was trying everything he could do to get around that 10 truck of Adler. But Adler's hanging tough there. Now you got the 21 truck of McCaffrey right on Renazetter's bumper.
They head for the tabletop on the backstretch. For Renazetter in that 17 Lucas Oil sponsored ride. McCaffrey in the Rockstar machine right behind him, the 21 truck. That's 5th and 6th behind Adler, who's in 4th. Ricky Johnson trying to run away with this.
Well, he can't run too far because there'll be a caution that comes out. It's going to bunch these guys back up. So I'm not so sure how hard LeDuc and Taylor are really running in 2nd, 3rd spot, knowing that that gap is going to be closed when that competition caution comes out.
And there are those bonus points at halfway as well. 6 for being in 1st, 3 for 2nd, 1 for 3rd. Taylor right on the bumper of LeDuc as they go through 1 and 2. Love that camera shot. That's LeDuc. Scott Taylor got a podium yesterday, still looking for a win.
Scott Taylor's made so many changes to this brand new truck. Literally just said he threw the kitchen sink at it. But one day ago, the magic finally came to him, and all he had to do was make some small, minor changes. He feels like the truck is finally there. All he has to do is drive it. Guys?
Thanks, Ken. Trying to work around some lap traffic back there. That's for second. Taylor and LeDuc. Across the start-finish line. You see this track is pavement and dirt. That'll really test your tires. Ricky Johnson.
Good shot right there on board. And, you know, Ricky Johnson's got it going his way. He can choose his line right now. He's not racing anybody. He's not pushing that truck really at all. I mean, he's running hard, don't get me wrong, but he's getting to pick his line, so he's not abusing the truck or the tires right now.
He's going to save that for the second half of the race. How about it, Kelly?
Well, Ricky Johnson's actually been battling some front brake issues, so in qualifying, he said he was actually kind of happy because he thought he could have gone even faster, and they think they've got him sorted out now, but that was an issue for him yesterday. We'll see if they hold up for him today.
Again, there will be a competition caution just past the halfway mark. That'll bunch up the field for a restart.
LeDuc, Taylor, Adler, and Renazetter right there, your top five.
There's McGrath in the 15.
Jerry Welch right now is falling to 15th spot, so he's obviously having some trouble.
How about it, Ken?
You know, after a strong qualifying effort for him, they actually had some problems. They have a new underdrive inside of that truck that they're experimenting with, and they had cracked the case on it. So they were literally making a change. No underdrive inside of that thing. They had to go to a different ring and pinion, just a small gear change. But needless to say, that ring and pinion not near as strong as the one that you can put in it when you run the underdrive.
There's the front stretch right in front of the main grandstand. There goes Ricky Johnson, the race leader. There's LeDuc and Adler, and Taylor and Renazetter. So Adler's gotten the position away from Taylor. Up to third. And while we watch these guys up front, we can tell you that Dan Vandenheuvel, the relief driver for Johnny Greaves, is out on the track 3 laps down.
Yeah, that's tough to make a driver change and not lose a lap on a course this small. Their only hope was to get, you know, some kind of a caution to give him that extra time.
Through tricky turn 5. That's the Red Bull Bausch Power Tools Ford of Ricky Johnson in the lead. LeDuc is second and Adler charging from third. These guys racing just as hard back in the pack. McGrath in the Monster Energy truck.
And Pudia is right there.
Cheney in the middle, isn't it?
Johnson's in that mix too.
Mike Johnson in the 31 truck. With Pfluger Racing, AMC Wheels Ford.
Pfluger right behind him.
Up front, Johnson. We close in on the competition caution. Johnson out of turn 5 and takes the caution. Continue to battle for positions behind him. Oh, Renazetter. Is that Taylor he got into? Looks like it. Remember, you get the bonus points. 6 for first at the competition caution, 3 for second, and 1 for third. So Ricky Johnson gets 6 bonus points, 3 for LeDuc and 1 for Adler.
And this championship may come down to those bonus points, Bill.
You're exactly right. Those are very valuable. That was a great addition by Championship Off-Road Racing, adding those bonus points. Ricky Johnson getting the lead from Adler on the first lap. Johnny Greaves getting out. Dan Vandenheuvel getting in, trying to get some points for Johnny in the championship battle. That's the reigning champion in Pro 2, but he's not having a good day today. Jerry Welchel, a tough ride here at Pomona.
Weekend. in a class that's littered with no less than 6 champions of championship off-road racing, it has to be a bit intimidating to come in your first year as a rookie and try to compete. Well, Mike Johnson not only has shown up as a rookie and competed, but he also finds himself in the top 10 in the points. In fact, if you look at his results out of the previous 8 rounds that we've run, you finished in the top 10, 7 of those. Where did you come from?
Well, as far as my background, I come from a stunt driving background. I work in the feature and television commercial industry, so it's helped a lot because I would say that the stunt driving sometimes is harder because you have a vehicle that's a one-off prototype or a very expensive car. You've got to hit some pretty serious marks, and you don't get any wiggle room. You know, you've got a camera crew, you've got a camera, or you have other vehicles and people around you, so you don't really get the leeway that you get here out on the track.
At the end of the 2008 season, if you were to say this season has been successful, what would you have accomplished?
I'd say if we could finish, you know, in the top 7 and get on the podium a couple of times this year, or finish in the top 5 and finish strong, and then you hear and start qualifying where the darn, I would be very happy.
And guys, another incredible stat for him is he's completed every lap so far this season, and he's always raced forward. He's never finished worse than he started. He is a tough, tough competitor, although we are hearing he might have a tire going down, so his work could be cut out for him today.
All right, Ken, thanks a lot. There's a look at Mike. About half a lap from going green. You going to try the radio?
Yeah, let's try to get Ricky real quick. Hey, Ricky, this is Wally up in the booth. Do you hear me?
Got a copy, Wally.
All right, man, I know you're making it look easy. I know it's not, but, you know, you were running up there. You didn't have to abuse your equipment too much. That's probably going to change a little bit with the guys in your rearview mirror. What's on the agenda?
Well, what's on the agenda right now, Wally, is I got my back, something leaking on my back brake, and it caught my rear rotor on fire. Now I'm down to about 2% pedal, so this could be interesting. So strap a seatbelt on. It's going to be fun.
Yes, this is going to be real interesting. Good luck.
It's going to be like you climbing Pike's Peak. Get it sideways or slow down.
Well, you're pretty good at it.
Thanks.
How's he going to do this?
Well, we're going to watch and see. Now, if it's his right rear, when he hits the brakes, that's going to be difficult for him to, because when you set the truck up, you're trying to, you know, you need all those brakes, especially on that right rear. And it's definitely, something's definitely on fire back there. So if he loses his right rear brake, yeah, it's going to be difficult for him to set the truck up, I think.
And they're going to run one more lap here under caution as they continue to prepare the track for the second half of this race.
Yeah, let's maybe get back to Ricky. Hey, Ricky, this is Wally. I'm going to bother you some more.
Okay. So his crew is trying to talk to race officials to get him permission where he can pass the pace truck and go to the pits and work on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they can do. If it's a brake line or something that's broke, there's not a whole lot you're going to be able to fix that quick, I don't believe, especially since it's been on fire for the last 2 laps.
Ricky has 1 win this season. It came at Prim. 3 second-place finishes. Was 5th here at Pomona yesterday.
Yeah, that fire's getting worse,
too.
So that gets to the point where you start heating up the wheel and it starts melting the bead. When you melt the bead, then your right rear tire is going to go flat.
And that's pretty much the end of the day, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much your pretty much history after that.
How about it, Kelly?
Well, you know, it's been really frustrating for Ricky Johnson and his entire crew with some of the mechanical failures they've dealt with this year. When they don't, he podiums, but he's had so many of them. And he said it's really heartbreaking. And he said it breaks his heart for the team because they know how hard he works. He said after one race, he blew a gasket, so to speak. And he said, I was yelling at the guys, but I was yelling for them because I know what they put into it. And I want to be on that podium for their sake.
Was 16th in the second race of the season at Pomona, 22nd earlier this year at Chula Vista.
Well, the good news is I think the fire is pretty much out. The bad news is whatever it was burning. Oh, no, the fire's still going.
Well, let's see what happens here.
Turn 1 is going to tell a lot. See how he gets that thing thrown in there.
Green flag.
The biggest problem is burning that right rear to where it goes flat because that tire and that wheel gets so hot.
Tell you, that's a brave driver in that truck right now. This is amazing.
Well, the last thing a driver wants to do is come in, especially when you're leading. You know, you're hoping it's going to stick together because if you come in, you're basically handing over the win. So you know what? Go for it. It's better to go out wrecking than first, I think, than pulling off the track.
Into the big dig. Todd LeDuc and McCachran on the move to third.
I just think that right rear tire has just got to be melting.
He gave up the lead there. McCachran and LeDuc. McCachran in the 21, LeDuc in the 3. They are not teammates. They both have that Rockstar sponsorship. Black flag for Ricky Johnson. The race officials have given Johnson the black flag, meaning he has to report to the pits to see if they can do something about that right rear. And also report Evan Evans is pulled out of the race.
The only thing they can do about that right rear is put it out. That's about the only thing they're going to be able to do. They're going to be able to fix that one.
McCachran leads, then it's LeDuc. There's Renacentor. He's in the 3rd spot. Boy, Jeremy McGrath having a good race. Right there in 4th. When McGrath wins, it's going to be big because once he gets a taste of it.
Yeah, he just gets better and better every single week. You know, he's out there not doing anything crazy. I mean, he runs a good race. He's learning a lot. And you're right, Bill. I think once he starts getting it figured out, he's going to be a consistent winner.
Fun to watch, isn't he, Kelly?
Just what you said, he's always taking care of equipment. But at this point, since he's out of the points race, he says he's just going for it. At this point, he goes, I'm going to go out in a ball of fire. And if I don't, then, you know, maybe I'll make up some of those points. Literally, yesterday, he did go out in a ball of fire when the power steering fluid caught fire. But he said he has nothing to lose, so he will be a little more risky from here on out.
Ricky Johnson has pulled into the pits. They put the fire out, still smoking, and it is coming right out of the caliper. So I wonder if the brake is actually hanging up. They got it out. He's just going to go back out anyways. It could be an oil fire, but it looked like the caliper on the rotor itself.
Thanks, Ken. There's Rob McCachran, your race leader. Won here yesterday, is going for the Pomona Suite. Won the first 2 races of the season, also at this track. He says he feels very comfortable racing here. They've got a big test scheduled at Chula Vista because he said Chula Vista is Carl Renacentor's track. This may be McCachran's track, but they're going to go down to Chula Vista and test that track because we have 2 more weekends, basically 4 more races there this year.
Yeah, no, they want to run better at Chula Vista. And, you know, the last time they had a test, they tore up a lot of trucks. There's a lot of guys that tested there and tore a lot of stuff up. I just think that the level of competition is just raising each week. Right. These guys are running harder and harder, and they're pushing the envelope more and more, and it shows.
Got a quick look at Ampudia in the 5th spot behind McGrath. That's on board with Jeremy. Traxxas onboard camera in that Monster Energy truck. It's a Ford McGrath drives. It's a Fully Dog sponsorship as well. There's Ampudia behind him. Who's that coming out of the dust? Adrian Cheney.
Yep.
Well, you talk about a guy that hasn't had any luck.
There's Pfluger right behind Cheney. This guy's having a good run today.
Cheney got a top 10 here yesterday. There's McGrath. Kelly talked about, caught fire yesterday. Got out of that truck in a hurry. McCachran is taking the white flag, working the last lap here.
McCachran is just flying right now.
I said to him this morning, I said, man, I said, that's a fast truck. And then I had to amend, I said, you're driving well in a fast truck. And he said, it's the whole team just making minute changes every time, trying to make the truck better. Ken?
McCachran made a last-minute change in the rear gear on that truck. It looks like they went the right way.
Whatever they're doing, it's working. Won the first 2 races of the season here at Pomona. Got a win at Prim, got a win yesterday on this track. You have to get through tricky turn 5 before you can finish, but he's made it. And Rob McCachran pulls off the sweep at Pomona with another win.
LeDuc second, Rennesander will take third. Oh, and it looks like Apudia gets McGrath the 4th spot. Heartbreaker for Ricky Johnson. He had a fast truck as well today, and that's a tough way to lose him.
And we'll wait for the unofficial finishing order. It's like Vandenheuvel may come home 22nd for Greaves. Now this is when Ricky's right rear is basically on fire here.
Yeah, I'm not sure Ricky was just slowing down at this point because he knew he was black flag. They let these guys go.
McCachran was fast in qualifying. He was the 2nd fastest qualifier. They inverted the top 8. That put him back to 7th. But he worked his way through the field, and now he's working his way to victory lane. And we're taking you there next from Pomona. This is Championship Off-Road Racing on NBC.
To do. We're leading the points, like you said. We wanted to play it safe with this Rockstar truck. You know, all the engineers at BF Goodrich have been working really hard on the tires, and it really showed today. You know, I love Pomona, I love the track, and I love leading the points in Championship Off-Road Racing.
Tell me about finding that hole to get up there in the front of the pack.
Well, you know, at the beginning of the race, you know, we found our spot, and we were kind of hanging it out there and figured, let's wait till that mandatory yellow comes out, and then let's see if we can go get them. And sure as heck we did. You know, this truck worked awesome. The Fox shocks on it were flawless again, and you know, it was really neat flying out of the big dig there. We're flying pretty far and getting through those bumps. I think that was one of the keys to the win in the race. But you know, again, I can't thank CORR and you know, all the fans that come out and watch us.
He extends his points lead yet again. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
A very disappointed Ricky Johnson standing here. These guys have fought some battles all year long with equipment. When this thing is right, you're bad fast. Man, you just can't get a break out here.
Well, I have to blame myself. Yesterday I spun out. Dadler got into me. It wasn't his fault, and it blew the rotor off my right front. So all day yesterday I rode with I think I abused my rears, and so then coming in today was just taking my time. I got in front of Adler, was watching where LeDuc and where everybody was, saving my equipment for the end of the race. But I think I abused the rears yesterday, and then something came loose. So, you know, maybe popped a piston out, but it started spraying, and then I lost all my fluid. And it's just a heartbreak. I mean, because this Red Bull, Bosch Power Tools, KMC, you know, team worked so damn hard. I mean, they worked all night long to get my stuff ready to go. We had a little bit of problems, but the qualifying went okay. We were up front. And just to have this, it's a heartbreak, man. So all you guys that are supporting us, we're fast. We're going to win. We just got to get our stuff together, I guess. Yeah, you want to put it, Ken.
Good cover right there, by the way. A very frustrated Ricky Johnson as he was 2nd in the points, guys, and he's watching the chances for a championship dwindle away.
Well, you know what? When these guys do get it figured out, and you know, they're having a lot of bad luck, but I'm telling you what, when they get all these stupid little things figured out, Ricky Johnson's going to be tough to beat. He's going to win a lot of races in that Red Bull truck, and they're just going through some bad luck right now.
I agree. There's Rob McCachran. He gets the win, 2 wins here at Pomona, and continues to lead the championship standings in Pro 2, 56 over Carl Rennesander. Todd LeDuc has the 3rd spot. Ricky Johnson now 115 points back in 4th. Jerry Welchel, the defending series champion, holds down the 5th spot, and you see the rest of the top 10 in the Pro 2 standings after 10 races in 2008. Plenty more racing still to come here on NBC. The stars of Pro 4 take to the track here at Pomona. They had a wild race here yesterday. We expect some of the same today. Hang on, Johnny. Beautiful weekend here in Pomona, California.
It was pretty exciting. Kyle LeDuc gets stuck in the wall. Rennesander got a black flag for that. But Kyle LeDuc worked his way back up to the front and took the checkered flag in the Pro 4 event.
It's around Scott Douglas there and gets the win. He was in victory lane yesterday. Right now he's with Kelly.
What a day it was for the Rockstar Makita team and Kyle LeDuc picking up his first ever Pro 4 win. Getting that first win, how does it change you as a driver?
It was a kind of what you could call an emotional roller coaster. You know, it's super exciting, and at the same time, my dad got a podium, so it was unbelievable for this team and the guys. And all 3 of us podiumed yesterday, and Todd podiumed today in Pro 2. So It's me and my dad shot. He's on the front row. I'm a little bit deeper, and I got a lot of good talent ahead of me, so it's my job to bring this into the podium.
Thanks, Kyle. We'll send it to Ken Stout with Rick Huseman.
And right in the middle of all that action, sandwiched between the LeDukes, was one Rick Huseman. Kind of a strange twist of events, but boy, you were right there to take advantage of it after starting in the back of the pack yesterday.
Yeah, we had an unfortunate spin out, and you know, coming all the way from the back, it always makes you feel good, but to get second, we were really happy with that yesterday, and hopefully be able to get it first today.
These guys worked very hard last night. They made an engine change. Apparently didn't slow down. They came out qualified number 2, guys. They're looking for a win.
All right, Ken, thanks a lot. Enjoy the race down there. Last time out at Chula Vista, Scott Douglas finally found his way to victory lane. This was another fantastic race. Douglas in front of Huseman there. Johnny Greaves had the field covered, but Greaves broke late in the race, and Scott Douglas came around to get his first win of 2008. More on Scott Douglas from Kelly. Leads by a whopping 4 points over Rick Huseman and Scott Douglas. You see Johnny Greaves in the 4th, and take a look at the rest of the top 10 in the championship standings. Good crowd on hand on a beautiful afternoon for off-road racing, and now it's time for the stars of the Pro 4 Series to take to the track. Can Douglas get back to victory lane? Will we see another sweep here in Pomona? We're going to find out next on NBC. The Pro 4 class description. It's a 15-truck field on the 7/10 of a mile track, 18 laps, and about 850, maybe 900 horsepower. Depends on who you ask and when.
They always lie to you.
You noticed that too. Take a look at the starting grid. The top 4 were inverted after qualifying. That puts Kurt LeDuc on the pole next to CORR Rennezetter. Rick Huseman 3rd, and Scott Douglas was by far the fastest man in qualifying, with whole start in the 4th spot. Kyle LeDuc looking for the sweep back in 5th. Troy Herbst in 6th. Josh Baldwin 7th, and you can see the rest of the starting grid for this afternoon's race here at Pomona. Again, it will be 18 laps, 1 competition caution, and the top 4 were inverted. And we've got some onboard cameras here.
There's Scott Douglas on board. There's Rick Huseman's on board. And then we should have Kyle LeDuc, the Rockstar Energy truck.
They've watered the track, and we're about a lap or so from going green. Final pre-race thoughts. Let's start with Kelly.
Well, you heard Kyle LeDuc talking about how excited that whole team is after yesterday's great day. Well, I talked to Kurt, and he said, you know, it just goes to show that with enough hard work, dreams really do come true. And when he found out that he was going to be on the pole after they inverted the top 4, he gave out a big cheer to his crew members in the pits and said, hey, guys, we're having some fun now.
And let's check with Ken Stout.
You know, guys, if you take a look at any of the flags out here at the racetrack, you'll see that there's a pretty strong breeze out here. And when they go up and over that tabletop, they're getting a lot of air, as we've seen as well. Well, if you take a look at Rick Huseman's truck and Adrian Chinney's, they put a lot of modifications to both the front bumper and the hood of those trucks, actually cutting holes in them to try and keep the nose from flying up over the back.
Yeah, and what they're doing, cutting the holes, right, Ken, they're releasing the air. They're releasing the pressure. So it's not like a big wing when it's flying over there. It's letting that air go out and letting the front of the truck drop down to the ground. So that's good thinking.
Scott Douglas in that 7 truck, which will start 4th, he told me they made changes in their tire grooving from the front tires, and they also made a sway bar change after yesterday's race, trying to make that truck a little bit faster, and it worked. He was much faster than everybody else in qualifying.
Grooving these tires is an art, and if you can do something just a little bit different and a little bit better than everybody else out there by experimenting, sometimes it pays off. Big dividends.
Kathy and Kevin Mayoris are in timing and scoring. Scott Lewis and Rob McDonald in the flag stand. Tony Vanello is the competition director. He's in control of the race. They move out of turn 5, looking for the green flag. They're racing at Pomona.
Man, it looked like Rennezetter had some trouble there. I don't know if it was on a shift or not, but he about got run over.
Huseman on the inside trying to take the position. Again, Rent-A-Center loses some spots. Out of turn 3, now they head for the big dig. That's on board with Huseman. Looking at what's chasing him down, but right now he's trying to grab the lead away from Kurt LeDuc as they head for turn 5. Kurt LeDuc in that 43 truck.
Take a look on the bottom now to see who gets the best grip. The track is still a little bit wet down the straightaway. And it looks like there's a little bit of smoke coming out of Rent-A-Center's truck.
Johnny Greaves is pulled to the pits for the driver change here in Pro 4. Again, Dan Vandenheuvel will be taking that seat. There you see the driver change going on in the hot pits. Meanwhile, Huseman has the lead from Kurt LeDuc.
By the way, guys, Dan Vandenheuvel, this is his first time ever in a Pro 4 truck, so nothing like coming out here and trying it out. And we should also make a note that this truck has been provided by the Jenkins brothers and, of course, the Track Back team.
Yeah, that has more sponsorship stickers on it than any truck I've ever seen. Huseman is the leader.
Kyle LeDuc there. 99 truck is trying to take some ground on Rent-A-Center.
That's Carl in third, and then Kyle in fourth. That's the Lucas Oil Products Skyjacker Ford for Carl. And that Rockstar Makita truck for Kyle LeDuc. Kyle got the victory here yesterday.
On board right there with Kyle.
Huseman out front. Vandenheuvel has rejoined the race, replacing Greaves.
Kyle LeDuc making some ground up. Takes a look at the inside in turn 5. Rent-A-Center's got a little bit more momentum coming off that corner on the high side.
I think those guys have an appointment. It's in turn 5 in a couple of laps.
Appointment with Carnage?
Yes. So that's Kurt LeDuc, then CORR Rent-A-Center, then Kyle LeDuc. The Rent-A-Center between father and son. The LeDucs with that Rockstar Makita sponsorship.
Oh, wow! What a move. Kyle LeDuc tries to go to the high side. In the meantime, Rent-A-Center slides down the bottom. Good move by Rent-A-Center, but Kurt LeDuc comes back on the inside. Muscles his way. Good stuff right here. Good stuff.
A little bit of contact there. Rent-A-Center's got the position for now, Kelly.
Rent-A-Center on the high side. Kyle LeDuc taking a look.
All this going on behind the race leader, Huseman. Hey, Kelly, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Carl Rent-A-Center telling me before the race he was wondering how this whole battle would play out with the LeDucs. He was more concerned about Kurt LeDuc at the very beginning. They're going into turn 1, which is why you saw him kind of stop. He was hoping to drop behind him on the inside in that turn 1. But he said, I just can't wrestle with these guys. Their trucks are too heavy, and Kurt LeDuc is a bulldog.
And I believe that's the polite version. There's Scott Douglas, the winner at Chula Vista, into the 4th spot. These are two drivers that are very polite to each other, but really do not get along on the racetrack.
On board there with Douglas.
Into the big dig.
And you're going to have that. You're going to have people not get along in racing, Bill.
You're kidding. They were talking at Chula Vista about something that happened weeks ago, and the more they talked to each other about it, it was the more angry they got with each other.
Yeah.
Finally, Scott walked away. That's third and fourth right there behind Huseman and CORR Center. Check that. That's fourth and fifth.
Fourth and fifth.
Thank you, Wally.
Here comes Huseman.
Watch this. That's a good camera angle right there. Center.
Hey, what? Kyle LeDuc is right there. So Center slips one little bit. LeDuc will be in second. Kelly.
Back there, Scott Douglas battling with Kurt LeDuc. As respected as Scott Douglas says his motorsports program is, he still thinks he's a little bit overlooked as a driver. But he said he can use that to his advantage because sometimes the guys ahead of him will let their guard down a little bit and he can take advantage of that. But so far, it doesn't look like Kurt's letting down his guard at all.
Scott also thinks he's almost too nice on the racetrack.
I don't know about that. I mean, not saying that he isn't. I just think that Scott's a really good, clean race car driver, and he wants to be raced as he races other people.
Yep.
And he doesn't like it when, you know, people drive all over him, and he shouldn't.
Remember, there will be bonus points for the top 3 trucks in the competition caution.
There they are, right there. Huseman, Center, and Kyle LeDuc.
Is that Douglas back there?
Yes, it is.
Had trouble getting through tricky turn 5. That waving caution, I believe, is for debris in turn 1. So we haven't gotten the competition caution yet. Still a local caution heading into turn 1. There's Huseman, the race leader. He's almost 3 seconds now ahead of CORR Center. As Wally pointed out, Kyle LeDuc right there, again.
And there's no sense for Center to really push it to try to catch Huseman because right now, he's going to catch him pretty easy. There's the mandatory yellow, so it's going to erase that gap. Now these guys run a little bit harder.
So Rick Huseman gets the 6 bonus points for leading at the competition caution. 3 for CORR Center, and 1 for Kyle LeDuc. Halfway through the Pro 4 event here at Pomona. Can Rick Huseman hang on? This place might actually owe him one. We'll see.
Top 5 finish in the Pro 4 division, but more importantly, they're just genuinely great people. And Johnny Greaves said, I need to thank those guys because they're actually the ones that provided him and his team an opportunity to race here today. They pulled their backup truck out, and that's the one that's out there right now with Dan Van Den Heuvel inside of it. Just super people.
Nice story, Ken. Thanks a lot. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing here in the Pro 4 division. Competition caution just about over, and here's the green flag. And you said they'll race a little harder now, huh?
I believe they will.
Center in second, behind Huseman.
Oh, wow, Center gets a great run. Huseman catches a lot of air right there.
Center tries the inside. Into the big dig. Again, Cole goes low. Huseman way up high.
He's got the bite.
Wow. That's turn 5. There are the LeDucs and Scott Douglas.
LeDucs were leaning on each other a little bit.
Ken?
Hey guys, you might remember this. It's shaping up to look like Pomona of round number 1 when Huseman was out front and that number 17 truck was coming after him again.
I'll tell you what, Rick Huseman is catching a lot of air over that tabletop. He's running hard, but he's catching a lot of air. Center makes up a lot of ground when that happens.
This is for the lead with less than 6 to go.
Well, Carl's going to get the bite coming off that high side.
Center takes the lead. Huseman's going to try and get it back as they race toward turn 5.
Oh, that!
Huseman got into him. Boy, they both wanted that inside lane.
That's going to hurt. Yeah. That's going to be interesting to see how that one's called.
I can look down to the flag stand. He does have the black flag in his hand. We'll see what happens the next time by. Huseman leads. That's Kyle LeDuc in second.
I mean, obviously that wasn't intentional, but still, Carl Renazander came out on the short end of the stick on that deal, and he didn't do anything wrong.
We are getting a report that Huseman, the race leader, will be black flag.
We talked
for rough
about
driving.
that. Play nice with others. The officials are coming down a little bit harder these days, Bill, on these guys about kind of contact. Ken, what do you got?
Hey, these two guys have been battling for years, but it was in the pro light division. Now that Kyle LeDuc is up in here, it's like days gone by, just twice the horsepower.
The black flag is out for Rick Huseman. Scott Douglas got black flag here in a race yesterday and was furious after the race because when he was held in the pit, it's supposed to be a stop and go. The official holding him, the radio didn't work. He was held for extra time. He said he was so mad last night, he couldn't talk to anybody. He just had to walk it off in the paddock all night. You got some more, Kelly?
Well, when you talk to some of these guys in the pits, some drivers are calling for more of these black flags and penalties. But I had a conversation with Adrian Cheney earlier today, and he said, look, I think that the officials are intervening way too much, and that it'll sort itself out on the track. He'd like to see them leave it alone.
Here's Huseman to the hot pits to answer the black flag. Gives up the race lead, and Kyle LeDuc is the leader.
The biggest thing is on this, if they're going to do stuff like this, as long as they're consistent, that's the thing that drives me crazy is when you're not consistent on making these kind of calls. So far this weekend, they've been fairly consistent on making that call with that black flag.
Kurt LeDuc in third, CORR Renazander in fourth. And how about Josh Baldwin up to the 5th spot?
Josh right there in the orange 86 truck. Oh, one of LeDuc's pulls off. Kyle, trouble possibly on the 99 truck.
The winner from the Pro 4 race yesterday off the pace. So that moves Scott Douglas to the lead, and this is the battle for second.
Kurt LeDuc, I mean, he tanked that thing.
And Josh Baldwin has trouble Renazander spot. Douglas the leader.
And he has a nice lead right now.
Kurt LeDuc. And then Steve Barlow in that Red Bull ride. Good run for Barlow in the 3rd position. Trying to get a podium finish and trying to get second.
Wow, now we're hearing Kurt LeDuc is going to get a black flag for rough driving. There may not be anybody left.
The report is that he is the cause for Carl Renazander's spin in turn 5. So the white flag is going to be out this time. White flag for Scott Douglas. And they do wave the black flag, and that's for Kurt LeDuc. So
I don't know if LeDuc knows it or not, because he's racing pretty hard with Barlow. Barlow runs into him, getting into turn 2. These guys are racing each other really, really hard right now.
Kurt LeDuc's not going to answer that black flag, I bet. He's going to race to the end and then fight his battle with the officials after the race is over.
It may not be over just yet. Barlow throws it in there underneath. On their way to the big dig.
This is for second behind race leader Scott Douglas.
Barlow drove in like 10 truck lengths deeper than he had the lap before.
Look at the run he got out of there, though. Coming for turn 5, look out.
And LeDuc heads to the pits. So he does answer it.
And Scott Douglas takes the win. Barlow second and Renazander third.
Baldwin comes home in 4th place.
That's his best finish of the season for Josh. Got a 5th place finish yesterday, a 4th today, a couple of top 5s. Well, post-race is going to be a lot of fun today. Tell ya, we saw the green flag and the checkered flag, but in between, the black flag. Sort all that out, go to victory lane with Scott Douglas in a moment. And Kyle LeDuc and the rest of the top 10 in Pro 4 points.